I used to sit at my desk with my tea going cold. I had project timelines open in one screen and emails on the other. And somewhere between the meetings and project update, I'll catch myself designing a room in my head. Not even a real room, just a space. Me thinking how a sofa could completely change the energy of the room if I moved it 3 feet on the left. And then someone will Teams me and I'll snap back to the deliverables, to the timelines, to the work I was actually being paid to do. But here's what I remember most about those moments. I wasn't daydreaming. I was actually somewhere else, fully, completely. And the thought that kept showing up louder each time was, what if I actually tried? Not on weekends, not as a side project, but really tried. Welcome to A Seat with Anisa. I am Anisa and I'm the founder of 116 Studio Design, a home staging and design business here in Toronto. This series isn't about staging tips or design trends. It's actually about the real, raw, and beautiful process of building something that matters to me. It's about the decisions that change everything, the fears that follow you, the moments when you realize, I'm actually doing this. Today is episode 1, and to start, I want to take you back to the beginning, to the moment I left my 9 to 5 to follow what I love and what that actually felt like. I have always loved working with homes, bringing up the best in a space that has always lit me up. Even as a kid, I cared about how a room felt, not just how it looked. My neighbor, actually, she used to come to me for advice. Curtains, coffee table, even the color of the paint. And I was very young. Looking back now, I see that love for shaping spaces has always been part of me. It still makes me happy just thinking about it. But it wasn't always my full-time path. For years, I worked a 9 to 5. It was safe, comfortable, predictable, and yet, deep down, I kept wondering, what else could I create if I really gave myself the chance? Before this, I worked in project management, and I genuinely enjoyed it. Good people, good company, work that suited my brain. I learned how to manage timelines, to communicate with clients, to balance expectations, skills that I still use today, by the way. But there was this quiet tension. Every time I would sit at my desk, running through my day like usual, I'll think about the spaces I could create. And at some point, I realized I can't keep doing one without the other. So I started helping with design work on weekends, to experience it, to design without pressure. And I realized how alive I felt creating something on my own. Like I've been holding my breath for years and finally remembered how to exhale. That's when I knew I'll never find out what this path could be if I didn't give it my full energy. But leaving, that was terrifying. It was really scary. I didn't know how it would turn out. Walking away meant giving up security I've been working years to build. And the fear didn't just show up once, it followed me everywhere. Me thinking, can I actually build something that lasts? Can I handle not knowing what's coming? What if I fail? Every question carried weight because it wasn't just about me, it was about responsibility to my life, to my work that I was doing, and the people counting on me. But here is what I realized, that staying felt like the bigger risk. I didn't want to wake up at my 50 and thinking, what if I tried? So I left. And it wasn't this clean, inspiring moment you see in the movies. It was heavy because the weight of responsibility doesn't just disappear just because you are following your passion. It actually gets heavier. Now every decision was mine, every success, every mistake, every slow month, all of it on me. And when it's all on you, you see things differently. There is no structure to lean on anymore, no boss to ask, no process to follow, no safety net. You become the structure and you build the safety you once had. And that changes how you think about time, money, risk, and everything. Taking responsibility for your own path is terrifying and empowering, both at the same time. But still, living my 9 to 5 never felt wrong. I was very excited. I knew there will never be a perfect moment to start something like this. I felt ready with enough experience and learnings to give it a real shot. And the only way to know if this path was right for me was to dive in, to commit, and to actually build something I've been dreaming about. In those first months, I learned a lot about people too. Some left and some showed up in unexpected ways, people for which I will always be grateful for. When you make a choice this big, everything that doesn't align starts to show itself. Advice from people who've never taken a risk like this. Voices, including my own, saying, maybe you should go back. But all of it taught me something: clarity. It reminded me why I took this leap. And it was exactly to build something that truly reflects my values. And not someone else's version of success, but mine. Starting my own business isn't just about following a dream. It's about responsibility. Responsibility for other people's homes, for their trust, for their time. And when someone hires me to stage their home, to design their home, and they share their vision and trust me to bring it to life, that becomes personal. It becomes a shared experience. Because their happiness, their love for their space, it becomes my responsibility too. But it's exactly that responsibility that it's part of the reward. And carrying that responsibility every day, that's what being self-motivated actually means. It's not a personality trait, it's a practice. Because being self-motivated isn't just a nice idea, it's actually the only way how this whole thing works. Every day, I have to show up to figure out what's next, to solve problems I didn't anticipate, and to commit to make it right. That tension, fear mixed with purpose, that's what makes it worth doing. You know, I used to think I just needed a clear vision and the discipline to execute it. And that if I planned well enough, I worked hard enough, I stayed focused enough, it would all unfold exactly as I imagined. But it hasn't been like that. You start with something and then life happens, you learn, things shift. What you are building changes as you change. Everything I have been talking about today, the leap, the uncertainty, all of it, it does come back to creativity. Not the polished, perfect kind, but the kind that keeps you moving when you are full of doubt. I used to think following what I love was about passion. Now I see it's about the creativity in how I solve problems, in how I show up, in how I rebuild myself every day. That's the real work. So let me ask you this. What's the thing you keep thinking about? The project that you'll start if only? That idea that shows up when you are supposed to be focused on something else? Or a path that you'll take when the time is right? What if the time is never going to feel right? Maybe you have already built a life and starting again feels like too much. I get that. Or maybe you are just starting out and the whole thing feels impossible. But either way, here's what this journey has made me realize is that waiting for certainty is just fear dressed up as strategy. I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow. I'm not saying ignore your reality. But what I'm saying here is if you are waiting for permission, if you are waiting for the perfect moment, for a proof that it will work out, you'll probably still be waiting 5 years from now. Because you are not waiting for the right time. You are waiting for a guarantee that doesn't exist. If you have ever thought about leaving a safe path, or you are thinking about it right now, this is what it will probably look like. It's uncertain, it's uncomfortable, and you'll absolutely doubt yourself. But it's also the most meaningful thing I've ever done. Because every day I commit to what I love. I'm not just learning how to build my dream, but to trust myself along the way. And the only way to know if it's yours is to try. In the next episode, we will dive into the after the jump part, the honest side where the real and growth happens. But for now, I will leave you with this. There is never a perfect time to start over, but there is a right time. And that's the moment you decide you are worth the risk. Thank you for being here with me today.